Hello everyone, it's Neil again from My Cloud Acoustics. I hope you're all good. Another quick lesson today, this time how you can identify every note on the fretboard. Don't sleep, not too much theory, I promise. It's based on what you know. What you thought you didn't know, right? But you do, probably. And why it's important. Now why it's important simply is because if you're playing, say, D, and you want to finish on, say, the root of the note, how do you do that? How do I know where to go, eh? There you go, that's it there, yeah? How do I know that? How do I know that if I want to finish on the third? How do I know that, yeah? That's me finishing on the root. That's me finishing on the third of the D. How do I know that? It's not that scientific. It's not that theoretical. It's bringing everything together and a few things that I've taught you before. So let's dive right into it. Now, there's a couple of assumptions. I'll need you to know that that's E, those two. And I need you to know that string's E. And I need you to probably have known you can do bar chords, right? Like this, and bar chords like that. Now, why is that important? Because that means every time you do an E-shaped chord, yeah, you know the note on that guitar, on this string, on the bass string. So for example, most of you know that's a G, that's an A, that's a B. So you know that's a G, that's an A, that's a B, that's a G, that's an A, that's a B. Okay, no rocket science, chapter 1 done, small chapter. Right, A, same theory, you know, that's a C, you know that's a D, you know that's an E. So you know that's an A, that's a C, that's an A, an E, a D, sorry, and that's an E. Chapter 2, really small chapter as well. So already you know half the strings, half them, easy. Now, this is where it gets a little bit, I think, clever. And I'll explain this, I think I've explained this before, yeah, on how to do this on the fretboard, but I'm not sure. Anyway, it involves one of the key things that took me years before the penny went blink, but eventually it did. So basically, I need you now to think about the D chord, the E chord again, and the A chord, which you already know. Those three chords, yeah, shapes. Because as I've told you before in previous videos, that this is relative to the fingering on the board here. The lowest note that I'm fingering is always the fifth, the middle one is always the root, and the high one is always the third. And a simple way to know that's definitely the third is when you move to minor, move the third down a half note, that's the one you move. So we go from those two say the same, that one moves, yeah? That's major to minor, okay? Similarly with the A shape, where I'm fingering, the lowest note that I'm playing on the fingerboard, the fretboard, is the fifth, the middle one's the root, the third. And again, you test it when you go from A to A minor. It's this one that moves. E, exactly the same. Lowest note is the root, is the fifth, middle one is the root, highest one is the third. So major to minor. Now what that means is, right, every time you're using those bar chord shapes, yeah, and on what is chapter 3 not quite over. Yeah, what that means is you know the root note on those three strings that you've missed, because this first, second, and sixth strings, 1, 2, 6, yeah, these cover those other chords. So the root note of the D is always on the second string, this one here, or the fifth string here. The root note of the A shape is on the G string there, and the root note on the E shape is on the third string there, the D string. So now you know, right? For example, that's an E. So when I do this, that's an E, yeah? This one you know fine is a B, because we play that shape. Yeah, so when you play that note, just play that chord, that's the note, yeah? We know now that just by identifying the chord, the E chord on the D string, that is an E. When I play that here, on the D string, that's an A, yeah? When I play that one here, on this string, on the B string, that's a D. Ta-da! So there you go. That is how you know all the chords, all the notes, and all the fretboards. So when you, for example, when you play here, we know that's an A, yeah? we know play the D shape here, the B shape here, there. So that would be E. Yeah. We play that note here. We know that is now an A. Yeah. When we play this one here, we know it's a C sharp. Yeah. What are the ones we're looking for? We're looking for here. This one here, say D. That means it's an F. Yeah. Got it? That's how you know. Now, that's how you can figure it out all over the fretboard. So let's use it. Let's run up the chords. So D. Yeah. There's your D there. E. There's your E there. So that means that's E flat. Yeah. D. E. That means that's an F. That's the G. That's the A. Yeah? Got it? That's how it works. Yeah? When I run up the C, A, the A, that's A. Run up. B. C, C. D. E. Awesome, eh? Let's run it through this one again. E, obviously we know that. So, G. A, B. Yeah, so the middle finger, right, in each of these chord shapes denotes the root. And it's the same for the minor, yeah, because it doesn't change. The middle finger doesn't change. So that, okay, so where's that important? So, sounds theoretical, Neil. No, it could be true so far. But anyway, say for example, I'm playing C, and I'm playing over the chord here, right, so now I'm playing this shape here. New way to play C, right? And I want to finish on the root note. Oh God, where's the C? Where's the C? Oh, my solo's finished. Missed it. No, I know that middle note here is the C. So I'm playing C. I'm playing the C. So I'm playing over the chord of C. So I'm playing this minor box here, minor box 1, and I just finish on that middle note. So. Finishing on the root there. If I want to finish on the third, I just go here, finish up here. Finishing on the root. So I do it on D. Okay, let's say I want to finish on the root again, a D. Guess what? I just do the same. Finishing on the D. And I know it's that one because it's just a C, the chord. Right, when I'm playing it, D. And I just hit that middle note of that shape. That's it. Similarly, if I'm playing a G and I'm playing up here, we need to play this shape more often. It's the most utilised here, but underutilised here, yeah? So try and use that a bit more. So there's a G. So some guys chunking away doing a G here, and I just want to finish on the root note, right? So I can go, I'm in G, right? So I'll be playing, there you go, finishing on the G there. Yeah? Just using that. That's easy. Yeah, that's it. Yes, that's all you need to know when you're playing it, yeah? So, let's say I'm doing an A minor. G. So I'm playing in the A minor chord, key here, right? So I'm not playing over the chord here, but I'm hitting a chord tone in A minor, which is C. So you know, fine. That's the box I'm playing. The pentatonic, and for those of you who want to play the minor scale, that's it, the first box. And I'm targeting that note there because that's my G. So, and then, that's the G there. That's all it is to it. So I'm doing it really basic, really simple, not doing it too complicated. But you can then start building in runs like so. There's me playing over. Let's see. So there's me playing really fast. But all I'm doing is hitting the chord tones because I know where they are. Because what I'm doing is I'm seeing the chord shape. Yeah? And I'm seeing it in the scale box so I know which notes to hit. I'll put some up there so you can see exactly what I'm trying to do so you get the idea of it. But that's all we're doing. And if I do it on a, I want to finish a G this time. That's my G. Yeah? And I want to slide down to the F here. It's an F. And I want to finish on an A minor. Hitting the chord tones there because I can see the chord in the shapes. Don't worry about errors, don't worry about mistakes. Just start visualizing those chords. And then when you visualize the chords, you know the fifth, the root, the third. And you can start playing away with them. That took me years to figure out. Don't know why, bit stupid. But I'm trying to accelerate everybody else's journey. And this is a really good way of mixing rhythm and lead guitar, which is my thing, right? Yeah, but also helping you then get the right notes, you know? So I'll go from a G to a C. Hit some notes. I'm hitting the chord tones. I know I'm hitting the root and the third and the root and the fifth. That's it. Hope you enjoyed that. Talk again soon. Bye.